Have you ever sat in your car after a networking event where you were hoping to meet new people, feeling completely dejected, like it had been a huge waste of your time? You didn't have a single conversation in that room that was meaningful. You spent 2 hours talking, but you left without any new connections or prospects. Today, I'm giving you some tough love. The reason you aren't walking away with new connections or clients isn't necessarily the fault of the group that you were with or the venue. It's that your intro or your elevator pitch is vanilla. It's smooth, yeah, and probably practiced, and it's completely forgettable. Today, we're going to find the words for you that actually make people stop and listen because your elevator pitch is a conversation starter. And if it's not starting conversations, then it's not working. When I'm at networking events and I hear people's intros or elevator pitches, I get confused. I'm like, I have no idea what that person really does. I have no idea what problem they solve. The flowery language and the jargon and the markety kind of phrasing that they've practiced until it's smooth as silk just confuses me. And so instead of it being a conversation starter, instead of me leaning in and going, really? Ooh, tell me more about that. I just smile and go, oh, nice. Nice to meet you. Right? How many times does that happen to you? And believe me, guys, it's not your fault. There are so many places where gurus or coaches like me will give you formats, formulas to follow. Hey, I have one. I have one right up here, creating your killer elevator pitch. And it's good. I'm not dogging these formulas at all. But the problem isn't the formula or putting together your elevator pitch or even your delivery. The problem is the words that you're using are not compelling. They don't put a stake in the ground and really tell people what you stand for and what your unique point of view is about the problem that you solve. And it needs to be a little bit provocative too, because that's what will start a conversation. When someone does hear you say, this is the problem I solve, and here's what I truly believe about that, and it's kind of contrarian to things that they are hearing from others, there's juice underneath that that really makes a difference in whether or not someone is going to continue a conversation with you or just walk away after they nod politely and smile. The most dangerous thing in your business isn't a no, it's the polite nod. If people are smiling and saying that's nice, your business is dying in the dark. So today we're going to fix that by finding the words that actually make people stop and listen. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why your elevator pitch isn't creating valuable conversations and relationships. And you're also going to have a real honest look at whether your unique point of view is actually unique. Because I'm going to show you 2 examples of pitches that went from absolutely forgettable to really conversation stopping. I've been doing this for a long time, guys, and things that I hear, I can almost immediately be able to tell if they're sincere and authentic and compelling, or if they're just the same old, same old. The best way for me to be able to help you understand exactly what I'm talking about is I want you to picture this for a second. I want you to line up your elevator pitch, the one you're using right now, lined up next to 5 other people in your niche. Would yours be obvious? Would you know which one was yours? I mean, without your name, would people know that you are recognizably you by the way you answer the question? So what do you do? And for most people, I have to say that the honest answer is no. And it's not a delivery problem. Again, it's not the way you're saying it. I think that people can practice and they can get out there and they can say things smoothly. But the problem lies in the fact that there's no clarity of belief. An elevator pitch needs to clearly be able to tell people how you solve the problem that your ideal client has in a unique way. What's your point of view? To bring this to light for you, I'm going to show you an example of this. I'm going to give you 5 of the most famous business books of all time that all solve the same exact problem in a different way. How do I become a better leader? There are the 7 Habits with Stephen Covey, Start with Why, which is Simon Sinek, Laws of Leadership, which is John Maxwell, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team with Patrick Lencioni, and Dare to Lead with Brene Brown. They all solve the same problem in a completely different way because they put their flag in the sand on it. Each author built an entire body of work, their entire reputation around their specific, almost stubborn belief about how that problem gets solved. Think about Brene Brown. She doesn't drift. She talks about one thing, vulnerability, and she has never gotten on a stage and said, actually, you know what I've been thinking? I think really it's more about habits. No, vulnerability every time, a million different ways. And that's being consistent about what you own. And without it, your pitch is just words in a structure. So the question is this: what's your stake in the ground? Because I really want to show you what it looks like when someone does find it. What it looks like before is kind of floundering. You're likely the best kept secret in your industry. You have the expertise, but you're using vanilla language that hides your brilliance. We're going to turn your expertise into a category of one, belief. And I want to do this through sharing two examples with you. The first one is an example of someone who's a burnout expert. How many people have you met at networking events that call themselves burnout experts or burnout coaches? Or they solve overwhelm, right? So here's the real pitch I heard recently from someone I was working with who was a burnout coach. She said, I help HR professionals and healthcare leaders build mental fitness so they can avoid burnout and lead more effectively. Okay, it's fine. It checks the boxes. She clearly identifies her ideal client. She talks about the problem that they're having and the outcome that they want. All right? It's not bad. But would it stop anyone in mid-conversation? No. And here's why. Because mental fitness is insider language. Her people aren't Googling, I need to get me some mental fitness. And avoid burnout is what every coach in her space says. There's nothing in there that would make someone stop and go, wait a minute. Whoa, tell me more about that. Now here's the question that I asked her. It's 2:00 in the morning. Your ideal client, this HR director, she can't sleep. What is she actually thinking about? And man, she lit up. I mean, she could talk about this all day. She said she's lying there spinning. She's got deadlines on her mind. She's got culture problems that are crazy because the medical industry is a mess right now. She has a policy she has to push through that nobody is going to like, and she's exhausted. She can't turn her brain off. Her family life is in shambles. And I said, okay, so what do you actually believe about why she's in that state? And she said, I truly believe that burnout is something we create ourselves by the way we think, and that the system is not going to change first, that you have to. And I said, boom, that's a pitch. Not I help leaders avoid burnout, but something more like this. I work with HR professionals who are running on empty, and I believe burnout isn't something that happens to you. It's something we create by the way we think, which means you don't have to wait for the culture to change. You're 100% in control of getting out of it now. Okay, now is that going to make people push back? Absolutely. It will definitely make the hair on the back of some people's necks stand up. And that's the point, because the reaction, even a skeptical one, is a real conversation. Polite nodding is a dead end. All right, here's another example. I was working with this woman who was an author. She wrote a book about helping established professionals, in essence, get known. The established professionals had a pushback, though. They didn't want to be an influencer. They wanted to be able to influence people. And so her original pitch was, it's more powerful to be an influence than an influencer. You know, it's kind of cute and clever, but certainly not clear enough to land in 30 seconds. I asked her the question, if your book was up on the shelf next to Maxwell's Becoming a Person of Influence, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Cialdini's book named Influence, what's your unique take on the same problem? And this woman, again, she also lit up. She said, oh, the answer are those books teach interpersonal leadership and persuasive influence, she said. My book is about visible influence, making the expertise and authority you already have actually visible. Now that's a completely distinct point of view. The problem is the same. I want people to take me seriously. Her answer is, you already have the credibility. You just haven't made it visible yet. So her new pitch direction was, I help established professionals stop being the best kept secret in their industry by giving themselves permission to create authority around the things they already built and make it visible to the people who need to hire them. Here's why I'm here with you today. I truly believe that you and everyone who is independent spends a lot of time showing up. We go to event after event. We post content week after week and we do all the right things, but we're having trouble making it compound because nothing we're saying is actually sticking. No one can repeat it. No one passes it along. And you stay invisible, not because you're not working hard enough, but because you haven't yet planted a real flag on what you believe and be able to communicate it clearly and consistently. I want you to imagine walking into a room and when someone asks you what you do, you don't even have to rehearse it because you believe it in your heart. You just say it clear and confident and specifically. And then you watch their face shift from that polite, kind of nicey nice to genuine curiosity. And that's what happens when your pitch has real conviction underneath it. So the question is, how do you find this? And this is the piece most elevator pitch formulas skip entirely. Before you write one single word of your pitch, you need to answer one question. What do I believe about the problem I solve that other people in my space either won't say or haven't thought to say yet? What is your actual position on the problem? And here's the fast way to test it. Think about 2 or 3 other people in your space. If you lined up your core belief about how you solve your client's problem next to theirs, would it be different? Would someone be able to tell you apart? If the answer is no, or even sort of, you've got work to do before you can even touch your pitch formula. There's a woman who's very similar to me. We're both dedicated to helping entrepreneur coaches and consultants and small business owners. We're dedicated to helping them get more visible, to get seen so that they can get chosen. She does it in a completely different way than I do. She believes that your email list is the only thing you own, and she talks about how to build your list and nurture relationships through that. And I've done that too, but she builds her platform on visibility made easy through creating email subscribers. The difference between us, I believe visibility is a problem as well, but at the core of my belief is that it can't be random, that you need to have frameworks and processes and systems that make it easy. See, we're both about being easy, but it makes it easy because it's repeatable. And underneath that framework, there has to be stuff like we're talking about today, true, strong, confident messaging. So we've solved the same problem 2 totally different ways. And when we're out there talking to our people, we're very consistent in the way we say it. So some people say, hey, I need her. And others believe they need me. And that's okay. Not everyone is for everyone. All right. Here's the thing I want you to really think about. If this is landing for you, I already mentioned I have a video on this channel that will help you with the format, the formula. But honestly, it's something you need to do after you take a look at this and figure out what it is that you're most passionate about and have a very clear and specific perspective and get comfortable in communicating that perspective. Look, the goal here isn't to walk away with a perfect, robotic 30-second script that you've memorized until it's smooth as silk. The goal is to walk into any room, whether it's a virtual meeting, a stage, or a podcast, and have something so true and distinct to say that you don't even have to rehearse it. You say it because you believe it. When you find that stake in the ground, you stop being a best kept secret and you start being the obvious choice. If you want to see exactly how this looks when it's put into practice, I've put together a case study for you in the description below. It breaks down how one of my clients shifted her messaging and the massive impact it had on her business growth. So plant your flag, and I'll see you in the next video.